right, so we are here today with Jana Williams from Entegra. Jana, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Marlon. Happy to be here.
Cool. So, can you give me a brief introduction of you and then talk a little bit about Entegra and what you guys do?
Yeah, I'm the director of marketing for the restaurant segment for Entegra, and we are a global group purchasing organization and help improve business performance by improving how you purchase, providing services for your operations to help improve your efficiencies and things like that. So we have business all across North America and across the globe.
That sounds interesting. And you guys have some tips out there that you're making available for some of your customers, correct?
Yes, we do. So yeah, there's probably five I think we're going to talk about today. So
All right, so I guess
yeah,
we better get started. so,
yeah, exactly.
so tip one is invest in research and development. How do you guys help your clients do that, or why should your clients be doing that?
Right. Well, the thing is with R&D, it's really not research and development as much as it is looking at your operations holistically, and it's beyond procurement. I mean, our day-to-day operations is really in procurement, but it really goes beyond that. So, the more time that your staff has to spend on bigger operational challenges and the less time they have to spend on procurement, the better off. So part of what we do is serve as a procurement partner, to be that extension of your purchasing group and take over a lot of the negotiations and provide additional services and things that help improve business performance. So one of the things, when I say holistically look at your operations, one of the things to look at is beyond food and beverage. Look at your energy consumption. Bigger restaurants, have huge amounts of energy waste. The larger the restaurant, the higher the waste. So make sure that you're having those things audited on a routine basis, either through your purchasing partner or through your energy consumption utility organization. And one other thing too is that it's can help you meet your sustainability goals too. If you're a larger organization, you probably have those, and so really looking for those energy efficiencies is a good way to improve that. And then also, when you go back kind of to the food and beverage side, look at ways to use different SKUs cross-functionally. So think of like the oats that you're using in a breakfast item. Those can work multiple ways as binders and entrees and crusts and desserts and things like that. So versatility among your SKUs is really important, especially nowadays with shortages and, you're trying to do things with multiple items with single products. So it's super important to make sure you're doing that. And then also look at product cuttings. Look at the products that you're currently using, and are there ways to do those to have a higher quality at a better price? So comparing like to like is a really good way to go beyond just your normal procurement purchases and saving money on food. So.
Yeah, and you actually kind of touched on the second tip, which is focus beyond food. So you dove right into that, which is totally important. I get that. So let's dive into tip three. So tip three is have smaller local distributors at the ready.
Right.
Why is that important?
Well, there's so many shortages these days and so much shortages on slotting at your mainline distributors. So having those local and regional relationships is super important. And I stress the word relationship because it's really easy to pick up the phone and call a distributor that's local when you need something, but don't just call them when you need something. Develop those relationships and communicate on a regular basis, so that they have you top of mind. You have a relationship kind of beyond your normal problems that you might call with, because everybody's calling with problems these days. So you want to make sure you have that ongoing communication with them. And then if possible, also, work with a purchasing partner, such as Entegra or another organization. They can really help leverage, products and suppliers and making sure they have the best and optimal ingredients and products from those distributors because of those relationships.
Yeah, that's great. And number four is a good one. It says forecast and be flexible. I can imagine during times like today, you really got to forecast and you definitely need to be flexible.
Yeah, everybody has to be flexible these days and forecast, and I don't think that's any news to anybody, but, again, that's why it's important to stay connected with your distributors, local, regional, and your national distributors. Make those relationships, call them up, ask for some of the data. They are continually getting data and forecasts on commodities and other things. So it's important to get that information ahead of time so that you can plan your menu as far out as you possibly can. And then where it makes sense, also look for alternative commodities. So if that cut of pork that you've been used to purchasing isn't really available anymore, or it's priced so high, you may need to look for some alternatives. And that may require potentially purchasing a larger cut, having a little more prep work on it, but the cost reduction on the cost of the goods may outweigh a little bit more of the expense if you have additional labor that's required to do that. One last thing too that I just came to mind as far as equipment, preventative maintenance. Make sure that you have maintenance that you've done on all of your equipment in advance of your busy season. You don't want things to break down unnecessarily. And then have those replacement parts that you kind of set on the backside. You might think it's an additional unnecessary expense when you buy that additional part that you needed to replace 6 months ago. But all of a sudden, when it breaks and you don't have it, you're going to be thankful that you had that additional part on hand to just quickly fix it and move on about your day.
Yeah, if it broke once, it's probably going to break again.
The ice machine, the combi oven, the freezer, something's going to go down, right?
Yep, for sure. Yep. All right, so tip 5, last but not least, gain greater control of your purchasing.
Right, yep. That really boils down a lot to data and analytics. You don't need to be spending your valuable time or your staff's valuable time sorting through spreadsheets and passing papers to get approvals and, invoices signed and approved and all of that stuff. So you really want to have some platform that you're using that's going to streamline and automate. So with our customers, we have several different things that we use, which should be commonplace with any procurement partner. But ours especially, we have an automated procurement system. So you're not sitting there, as I said, filling paper and ordering from multiple different suppliers in multiple different platforms. So you can automate all of that through one platform. It saves time for your staff. It saves time for you in issuing approvals and etc. So it's really just a good way to make sure that you've got everything in a database and you're not having a stack of papers 3 inches thick, that you have to rifle through on a regular basis.
All right, Jana, so those 5 tips are absolutely amazing, and I can see why they'd be helpful to your clients. But what I really want to know is, what is it that really separates you from your competition?
Yep, that's a good question. There are a lot of procurement partners out there. I think if I had to put it into 2 words for us, it's business performance. So we're looking beyond procurement. That's table stakes for everybody. But from a holistic standpoint, we want to help you improve business performance. So we want to look at everything outside of food and beverage. In addition to that, but also everything outside of that. So earlier when we talked about energy audits and e-procurement and having visibility to your data, all of those are things that we want to make sure you have access to as a client. And we want to build that relationship and that trust and have that transparency. And I think those are the things that really separate us. So
I love it. Well,
I would encourage everybody to go visit our website and find out more.
And what is your website?
It is integraps.com.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everything Entegra does. And thank you for helping us create the future of food service.